For those of you that have not had the pleasure and the opportunity to do Zooms or webinars over the last couple years, just want to tell you that it's always something new that you learn, and every time they update the system, you learn something new. So we'll go ahead and get started. We do have this as a Zoom webinar, and it is live streaming on the Michigan District of Kiwanis Facebook page. So for those of you that don't, my name is Sue Petrisin, and I'm a member of the Michigan District of Kiwanis, a member of the East Lansing Club and the Grand Ledge Club, who I help coach. And I served as the Kiwanis International President in 2015, 2016. And when the pandemic hit us 2 years ago, 3 years ago, one of the things that I needed to do was find a way to connect and stay connected with the Kiwanis members that I had met around the world. And when conventions and everything shut down, that was missing. So I started Kiwanis Let's Talk. We are now in our 3rd season, and we have had more than probably 70 to 80 speakers over the last couple of years. And if you're interested in watching any of our old shows, you can go to the Michigan District of Kiwanis Facebook page, and they are there. And I will let you know that at this point, they are recorded just as we record them today. I haven't done any fancy skills to them because I don't know how to do that. So I'm like, it's right there. Our goal tonight is to make sure that you have an opportunity to ask some questions. And for those of you that are on Facebook, Rosemary Robinson, who's the current governor of the Michigan District, will be following the chat and helping you out there. And then Linda Lothar, who's a member of Michigan District and one of our Kiwanis International trustees, will be helping us out on Zoom. So I'm very excited to have you all with us tonight, and I'm very excited for several reasons. Tonight, you are going to learn about a new program that Kiwanis International has put together and introduced. And membership growth, as we know, is not a one-time campaign or event. It's a continuous club operations. We believe a new resource will help clubs grow their membership and make membership growth part of club operations. We're calling it 2 for 2. The premise of 2 for 2 is simple. 2 members meet with 2 prospects every month to discuss Kiwanis and the club's impact on the community. And here with us tonight to present this program is our Director of Global Membership and Education, Chris Martz. Chris has been employed with Kiwanis International for 12 years and graduated from Ball State University in Indiana. For the past 24 years, he has worked in the nonprofit world, generally in the areas of communication and management. He's an 18-year Kiwanis member of the Meridian Hills. He's currently a member of the Meridian Hills Club in Indianapolis and resides in Noblesville, Indiana. And Chris enjoys running. I don't know when he's doing it. It has time, but Chris does enjoy that. So we want to welcome everyone tonight. And Chris, I will let you have the screen. It's yours. Everyone else that is with the Zoom, if you would just make sure that your mute button is on so we don't hear you. We'll take questions later. So Chris, take it away.
Great. Thank you so much, Sue. I am so happy to be with all of you tonight, not just the Michigan District, but I've already seen we have people from coast to coast on here tonight. So that is awesome. I am most excited to unveil a brand new program. When I say brand new, these guidebooks just arrived in our office last Thursday. So this is a brand new program. We are excited about it. And I want to get you excited about growing your club. And like Sue said, we are making it very manageable, month by month, person to person. So if we were together as a group, we would have a conversation. But tonight, I really want you to think about some things. So just ponder some of the questions that I'm going to ask you. When your club has a service project, do you ever wish that there were more hands there to help you out? Does your club suffer from what's called the 80-20 rule, where 80% of the heavy lifting is done by 20% of those members? Do fewer than half of your members attend regular club meetings? Has your club ever had to beg people to become officers of your club? If you sponsor a service leadership program, do more than 1 or 2 people show up to support the SLP program? Have you personally ever sponsored someone to join Kiwanis? Has your club recruited new members on an ongoing basis? And would your club benefit by recruiting more people, more hands for service? We definitely know that that answer is yes. No matter your club size, whether it's 10 or 100, we can always use more hands for service. So let's begin tonight by looking at a few places that we can look for new members. Most of you have probably seen the roster analysis worksheet. You can find this online just by going to kiwanis.org/professions. And I love this sheet because it's a brainstorming sheet. You can hand this out at a club meeting and you can start asking your members, who do you know who's a barber? Who do you know who's a banker, an electrician, a landscaper, an x-ray technician? So all these names associated with professions become potential Kiwanians. And we create a contact list from that. Now, I will say that I was delivering a presentation about the roster analysis one time, and I looked down at my sheet and plumber just jumped out at me. And I said, could you use a plumber in your club? And so many people laughed and they said, why would we need a plumber in our club? And I said, I don't know, let's explore that. 7 minutes into the conversation, they tell me that one of their service projects, and they've done it for many years, was working with Habitat for Humanity. Now, right there is your answer. A plumber would be a great member for that Kiwanis club. So every profession can fit into any Kiwanis club. So we've taken this one step further, and I've narrowed down this list of professions to real Kiwanians. We took our database and we took those Kiwanians who had given us their occupation, their professional roles, and I've made a list here of the top professions who are current Kiwanians. So you can see that banking, finance, insurance ranks up there #1. So this is also a great list to look for potential Kiwanians, because we know that the majority of these people would be interested in joining Kiwanis. And then, of course, we don't want to forget those people who we know that we may see on a daily basis. So our relatives, our friends, our neighbors, work colleagues, any professional group that we're engaged with, even our church family, or even thinking back to maybe some college friends who live in a nearby community, live near you, or maybe you just want to promote Kiwanis to them and know that they have a great Kiwanis club in their own community. So now let's look at some specific individuals who can make a huge impact on your club. First, we're going to start with the expert. So this is a great person who has a lot of personal experience. They've done extensive research. Maybe they know the needs of the kids in the community. So think about what kind of expertise would enhance what your club could do well. So possibly you know an expert in your community who would make a great Kiwanian. How about a techie? You know, obviously, if we're thinking about our club, we might think that they could create and maintain a club website, the social media accounts, but think about where the techies in your community come from. Where do they work? Where do they live? The communicator. This is a great person who can promote your club and all of its events. But what kind of jobs in your community have great communicators? You know, those businesses that have a director of communications, a director of public relations, a company spokesperson, those people make great members of your Kiwanis club. The number cruncher, obviously that person makes a great treasurer for your club, but also they make sure that your service projects get the most bang for the buck, that, you know, the club, whatever the club is putting into it, a number cruncher makes sure that you're getting a return on investment. So who do you know that is a numbers cruncher who also loves working with kids? Think about that. Another great Kiwanian prospect. The connector. We all know people like this. They connect people to people. They connect people to needed resources. They make things happen in your community. Again, Who do you know who can make things happen in your area, in your neighborhood? The social butterfly. We all know someone who can definitely introduce people to Kiwanis. They know everyone. They know where to find volunteers. They know how to spread the word. So where can you find that person? Who do you know in your community who plays the role of the social butterfly? The workhorse. This person definitely has time and motivation to help on any project, and they have the get it done attitude. So look for those people who are doers in your community. The motivator. This person keeps everyone on task. They are so positive. They like to instill a competitive spirit. They inspire members. So think about the most positive people in your community. Again, a great prospect for a Kiwanian. And then you have the creative people. They push your club to be a little bit imaginative. They can anticipate problems. They can look at innovative solutions to those problems. So where in your community can you find the creative, innovative types? So we all know that by adding a few members, we can make a huge impact to our Kiwanis clubs. And that is why we're launching the program 2 for 2. It's going to be an ongoing membership growth initiative. So what is 2 for 2? We are going to throw a link into both of the chats so that you can click on that link and you can go out and take a look at the publication itself. If you'd like to stay with us, that's fine, because I'm going to walk you through the program, the actual publication here, but you'll have the link for after this presentation. So there are some simple goals to 2 for 2. We want to make meeting prospective members fun. We want to make it manageable for clubs. And we want to make it a continuous club operation. This is something that you just start doing, and once you start, you can't stop. So essentially, 2 members each month, inviting 2 prospects and 1 new member. And we'll talk about that in a moment. That's going to be our goal. So this is really nothing new. Inviting members to Kiwanis clubs has worked for over 100 years. It's easy. It makes sense. It's geared for every club member to become engaged in recruitment. It's a fun way to get everyone involved. It's evergreen. You can start this at any time, and it does not have an end date. And it, like I said, it breaks down your membership goals to a manageable monthly goal. And it works for every club, no matter the size. Again, whether you're 10 members or 100 members, everyone can use more Kiwanians in their club. And it works for every club size. So the larger the club, the more it can do. The more members mean more connections, more skill sets, more ideas for the club. Tasks become easier, and really the possibilities start expanding. We know that people join people. Our members stay for the service opportunities. So 2 for 2 provides a way to organize your efforts to recruit. Again, you're going to hear me say this a lot. 2 members are identified each month to spearhead that month's recruitment efforts. That month's recruitment efforts is essentially identifying 2 prospective members. Those current members reach out to the prospective members and have an appointment. And we're going to talk about the appointment in just a moment. And then the members invite the prospects to a meeting, or better yet, see the club in action, get them to a service project. So we know we've talked about more hands for service. We also know that this brings in more money for service, more money for our administrative dollars, more community awareness. Again, I said more networking connections, but more knowledge of just the community needs. And that's so important. When you bring in a new member, they bring in ideas for how your Kiwanis Club can help the community. So here we go. This is what the cover of 2 for 2 looks like. And everyone has access to the online version now. And 2 for 2 will be included in everything we do for club strengthening efforts. And most clubs are going to see this in the upcoming general mailing, which is going to mail in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Every club in North America will receive the general mailing, and this will be a piece of that general mailing. We are including this in mid-year education. We're including this in a letter to club membership chairs. This will be the basis for May is Membership Month, and everything we do for May is Membership Month will be surrounded by 2 for 2. And let me just tell you, there are going to be fabulous prizes during the month of May, I've heard. This will be included in Lieutenant Governor training and our district convention education. In our club opening efforts, we're going to leave a new club with this as a mechanism to start using. Identifying 2 prospects, going out and meeting with those 2 prospects, and growing their club from the moment that they charter. This can also be very customized. And when we're talking about 2 prospects, and we talk a lot about professions, but your club may have an objective, and that objective may be, we want to be younger. And 2 for 2 can actually work for that. So let's say your club is, the average age is 65, and you would like to be 10 years younger. All you have to do is each time you invite your prospects, make sure that they're in that 50 to 55 range. So there are ways that you can customize this to really make it work for an objective for your club. So I'm going to walk you through the guidebook. It is a 12-page guidebook, and we're just going to walk through and I'm going to show you what is there. We have given you all of the tools to be successful to make this program work. So the guide begins with walking you through the basics of the initiative. Again, 2 members invite 2 prospects every month. How you do that. We break it down very simply. And then we go into the specifics of brainstorming for potential members and prospects. So the first thing we do is we take a look at corporate memberships. And I'm just going to pull this slide up here. Who makes a good corporate member? Sometimes we make this question a little too difficult. We need to think about those people who are already engaged with our Kiwanis Club, the local partners that we work with for our projects, service project supporters who may be in-kind donors or who just may be supporters for us, fundraising project donors, our weekly speakers that we have our Kiwanis clubs, and then just friends of Kiwanis who we know, who they support us. Just think about those type of people who may make great corporate sponsors. Now, remember, a corporate member is a Kiwanis membership where the company joins Kiwanis and they send a representative to club meetings and events. So if the person moves or is no longer employed by the company, then the business still maintains a membership with the Kiwanis Club, and then they can appoint another representative to attend the meetings or events. So then you'll see our character friends again in the guide because we walk the club through a brainstorming session of who do they know in their own communities, who are the experts, who are the workforces, the motivators. And we ask them those same questions that I just asked you. but asking them as it pertains to their own community. We know that the strongest clubs have a mix of skills, personalities, and experiences. This is probably not news to any of you. A great Kiwanis club is very diverse and it mirrors the community. So we're really hoping that these brainstorming activities will help the club identify those people who they want to talk to about their Kiwanis club. Then we get into the nuts and bolts. Besides brainstorming who the prospects are going to be, having that appointment, developing that 1-minute speech. And again, we've boiled these down so they're very simple for clubs to handle and for club members to think about. And our goal, our objective here is to make recruiting fun for everyone and make everyone a part of recruiting. They understand how to do it. So let's talk about how we've broken down the 1-minute speech a little bit. Most of you know what a 1-minute speech or the elevator speech is. There are 2 goals to it. You grab the prospect's interest right away, and you really respect their time because it's very short, it's succinct. We want to teach our members that when you go into an appointment and you start talking about Kiwanis, that you create that very short, succinct speech that you can tell a prospective member. And we want people to ask themselves, why my club? What do you love the most? Maybe they choose a service project that is, makes them the most proud to be a Kiwanian. Ask themselves, what is our community impact? How do we make a community impact? Of course, you're working together with others who care. But, to make it personal, think about a child that maybe you impacted. Maybe you remember your Kiwanis aha moment. So everyone's elevator or 1-minute speech is going to be slightly different. But you're all talking about the same club. And that's the great thing, because everyone's club means something different and something special to that person. So we do teach that in the book. And then we talk a little bit about the appointment. Those of you who have gone out and opened new clubs know that when we go out and open new clubs, we make appointments with prospective members. And it works exactly the same thing the same way when you are trying to strengthen your club and add new members. And that is what we're doing with the 2 for 2 campaign. We want you to go out and have an appointment with a prospective member. And again, remember that you have 2 members who are in charge of each month who are meeting with two prospective members. So there may be different ways that you do meetings, and each month it may look a little different. So one idea may be that perhaps you find out that your 2 prospects know each other. And so all 4 of you go out to a local coffee shop and just sit for 45 minutes to an hour and talk about Kiwanis and have your appointment that way. Maybe you decide that it's going to be better to invite the prospects to a service project that happens on a Saturday morning. And then afterwards, you take those 2 prospects out to brunch or lunch and talk about Kiwanis that way. And then obviously we have those busy professionals, possibly those bankers, insurance agents, anyone who's very appointment driven in their profession. And you'll want to set an appointment with them where those 2 members who are in charge of the month are going to go out and meet with that prospective member as a team to talk about Kiwanis. So again, how do you do this in the appointment? Remembering the key message. You're going back to that 1-minute speech. You want to make sure that the prospect understands what Kiwanis is all about. We tell people to be observant when they go out and have an appointment. If they're in the person's office, look around for clues that would connect them to a community event. or their passion for kids, or just being able to ask them about something that is in their office. Maybe they have a trophy from their days as in youth sports, and that may be a great icebreaker question. Listen, don't talk too much. Listen to all the interests that they have. Connect them to service projects that you already do in your club. Make sure that you're prepared. Take an application with you. I put a little asterisk there on the slide because you may want to have a club brochure. And if you don't have a club brochure, maybe create a one sheet, a list of projects, and a list of fundraisers that you do and where your community service money goes, and take that with you. You can always go to the Kiwanis International website and download the Just the Facts sheet. It's under the About Us section on our website. And that is a great resource that just showcases Kiwanis overall. Take a notebook with you. So after your appointment, write down some things that you do not want to forget about this prospect, some things that you want to follow up with. And then definitely follow up, whether that's with a personal note, a phone call, an email, an invitation to the service project, but definitely following up. And then don't give up if they say that they're not interested right now. Find out when might be a good time for them to come see Kiwanis in action. Definitely invite them to a service project in the near future. And then we've given you 2 pages, 16 months worth of prospect cards to get you started. So we've got 2 pages here, and I've enlarged the prospect card just so you can see it. But these prospect reports basically organize each of your months. So you write the month on it, who your prospects are for that month and their contact information, and who the members are who are in charge of that month of meeting with the 2 prospects. And then, of course, the status section is all about, where are you going to schedule the meeting? What is the update? What is the status of the prospects? And when do you need to follow up? And the great thing is each month, if you're a little stuck, who to reach out to, we've given you suggestions at the bottom of the cards. So this is a great way to, if you can't think of who to reach out to, just look at the bottom of the card and you're going to get some more ideas. And as we take you through whether it's going to be for your club the next 12 months, the 16 months, if you want to start tomorrow, that's great. If you decide you want to start in a few months, we've given you a status update page. And this is just a great way, an easy way for you to track how many prospects that you have contacted. And you may want to do something special with a different color for those people who actually converted to a member. We've also given you some great ideas for keeping members engaged and making sure that they are engaged in club activities right away. And we'll get to that in just a moment. So here's where we come up with our goal. We believe you're going to be successful if you get half of your prospects to join Kiwanis. So remember the 2-2-1, 2 members going after 2 prospects. Let's convert at least one of those prospects each month, or the equivalent. So over the course of a year, if you meet with 24 prospects, hopefully you don't go a few months without getting a new member. But all of a sudden you might get several months of getting both of your prospects engaged in Kiwanis and making them a member right away. So think of it as 12 new members in a year's time. Now, here's what I also want you to think about. A lot of clubs have great membership drive events. Don't stop doing that. If you have a successful open house during the month of May, and it has traditionally you know, given you, 4, 6 new members, don't stop doing that. Continue that. But add 2 for 2 into the mix of your membership recruitment efforts. But also remember that we need clubs to stay positive in membership. So it really doesn't help if you add 12 new members in a year's time and you lose 16. So making sure that you are keeping up with the numbers and that you know that you're going to be net positive at the end of the year. Most importantly, ask those new members to bring a friend along. Everyone has a like-minded friend, and if that person, that new member is interested in Kiwanis, they probably have a friend, a colleague, relative who will also be interested in service to kids. And then we all know that the first 30 to 60, 90 days of membership is so vital. We've got to get people, our new members, engaged as part of the club. So on that last page of the booklet, we've given you some ideas of how to do that in basically a 90-day period. Right away, welcoming that new member and promoting that. It may be on your website, your social media page, in your next newsletter. And don't forget to do new member orientation with them. That's very important. Think about personal touches that you can do for a new member. Maybe that's a handwritten note, and maybe some surprises, possibly some gifts, maybe their first Kiwanis branded item from the Kiwanis store. Celebrate every new member and match them up with a mentor. Everyone should have a sponsor, but these prospects may not come in with a sponsor necessarily, so give them a mentor or an ambassador, someone who's going to walk them through the next several months of their Kiwanis membership. And then, around the 3rd month mark, make sure that you're following up with these people. Make sure that you're keeping them updated and that they know what is going on with the club. And ask them if they have any questions, because who knows, they might see on the schedule of events an upcoming bug dinner. And they wonder, what have I gotten myself into? Because they don't know that bug stands for bring up grades. So you have to stay engaged with them and answer all of their questions. So what now? Send the link to your club members. Start talking about this at your club meetings. Maybe allocate one club meeting just to brainstorm, the next 24 months or 18 months of who are some prospects. Start assigning members to each month so they can start preparing, that they know that in July, I am responsible with Joe to go out and meet with 2 prospective members. And I'm going to know who those 2 prospective members are. And so I think it's just really key that we start organizing ourselves. And again, we believe we've given you all the tools to do this in one comprehensive booklet. I would say by the next 3 to 6 months, obviously every club will have a book in their hand. Really the club only needs one physical book. It'd be great if everyone else has, access to the PDF version, but we have plenty of them. So if you need some copies, those of you who are on this webinar tonight, if you would like to send me an email, if you know that you would need some copies right away, we will get them out. I have a mailing that is going out next week. So feel free to send me an email and we'll drop you a couple in the mail as well. So that is my presentation. I hope that you are as excited about this program as we are. Again, 2 prospects 2 members, and hopefully 1 new member each month. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. We do have a couple questions that have come in through chat on Facebook. But first, I'm going to let Greg Smith go ahead and ask his question. Greg? You're muted, Greg. You have to unmute yourself.
Sorry. The 2 comments, a comment and a question. The comment is, you mentioned about bringing a notebook along and taking notes later. Well, I think it's perfectly okay if you ask permission. Is it okay if I take notes while we're talking, and then you don't have to try to remember things? You can take notes as they're talking. But my question is this: is that you're going to be getting just like everything, you got the old 80-20, where in a club you probably have 20% of the people that are going to provide 80% of the names. So is it crucial that the person that provided the name be on that appointment with that person, or can it be other people to get more people involved? What's your thoughts about that?
It is not. I have always promoted that just because you brainstorm people's names, and I may have a friend who I really believe would make a great Kiwanian, but maybe I don't necessarily want to approach that person about talking about Kiwanis. And maybe it's more of a professional thing. Maybe that person's a realtor, and we've got a realtor in our club, and that would be really great to connect realtor to realtor. Or there may be, another, maybe it's a young professional, so we connect the youngest person in our club to go meet with that person. So there are ways to think around that. No, you definitely do not need to go on the appointment that you gave that name for. I also believe, I think what you are also getting at is that not everyone is going to want to participate. We know that that's going to happen. But if you start generating some excitement around this and start celebrating, maybe those people who were really hesitant at first, maybe by month 9 or 10, they're like, okay, I can do this. I need to get in on the action on this. So there are ways to really excite people and get them motivated about going out and having an appointment. Every time, the first time you do it, you are going to be scared. And so really pair up those 2 new members, maybe with someone who's really dynamic and someone who's very shy. So when I first started going out on appointments, I was the observer looking for, all the clues in the office. Now I have no problem leading an appointment.
So if you're not the one going out for the friend, should you call that person ahead of time and say, hey, I'm in the club, so a couple of people from Kiwanis are going to come talk to you about this, or
I think that's a great idea. One of my fellow colleagues that probably all of you know, Brad Boyd, would tell you to LinkedIn, stalk that person, find out about them, what they do, what their interests are, Google them, whatever. So yes, I do believe that it is great to, say that I have, passed your name on to my Kiwanis club, and Joe is going to be contacting you along with Susan. They're going to come out and just chat with you about Kiwanis.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Rosemary, would you like to ask our Facebook questions?
Sure. It was from Jared. Let me pull it up here, because what I was doing was copying and pasting it into something else so I could find it again. Alrighty, Jared would like to know if you have any suggestions for how to deal with, we've always done it that way, mind frame when trying to initiate a chance for future growth in younger members.
So my answer to that is, I would say that more than likely, Jared's club probably has not done this. So this is something new. And, it is exciting. One of the things that we want to do is to bring some new life into Kiwanis, whether that is how we recruit or how we do service. So every new member, again, going back to connecting people. I will never forget bringing in about 4 members into our club that maybe were 15, 20 years younger than me at that time. And we did an annual Easter egg hunt. And they had so many great ideas. And as someone who had done it for 9 years, the egg hunt for 9 years, I was like, we've never done it this way before. And I felt, a little old in my ways, but I let them try new things and it worked. It was exciting. It was new. So if you go into it with that attitude that you're not going to change the world, but you're going to improve a lot of things that you do as a Kiwanis club, then I think you're going to have some real excitement building.
Chris, another response to that is timing is everything. And what you may have done 10 years ago and you try and do again now may make all the difference.
Mhm.
When you ask somebody out, they may not say yes the first time, but
Mhm.
5 years later, you run into them and magic happens.
Yes, and we know that, just in the last 2 years, think how many lives have changed. People are working from home. People may have more time. Some people have less time because of the pandemic. People's lives have changed. And so getting to know that about the person is very, very important. But yes, thinking about all those past people who you have invited to be a member, their lives may have changed. Quite honestly, this is an excellent opportunity to go back to your list of former members. If they're still living in the community, perhaps you and take this program and make it your own. So perhaps you make your own program where you've got 2 new prospects, but you also go after 2 former members each month as well. So make it what you want and how you believe that your club is going to best benefit from the 2 for 2 program.
All righty, we have one more question coming in, but before that, I want to throw a shout out to the Kiwanis Club of Constant Spring in ECNC. They have 5 members on Facebook tonight watching.
Nice. Congratulations.
Very good.
All righty, so Herb asked if there is any benefit to approaching parents of key clubbers or other SLPs to be prospective members. And Alan also commented to ask the parents of your scholarship recipients.
Yes, there's always an opportunity for going after parents of kids that you support in your SLP programs, your scholarship programs. I've heard pros and cons about it. I've also heard great opportunities like after a key clubber graduates high school. Some people believe that is a prime opportunity to ask a parent to get involved. Sometimes a high school student doesn't want their parent too connected to them, and maybe Key Club and Kiwanis is a little too connected. I'm just throwing that out, having a high school niece and nephew. But so maybe you do start employing that, after the Key Clubber graduates, you might ask the parent. But definitely, at least ask. And make it fun to the parents as well. Your kid loves Key Club. We're just grown-up Key Clubbers, and this is what we do. We have fun. We do service. We have our own projects, but we also work with the high school students, and maybe we work with the middle school students as well. So, there are great ways to spin that, but that's definitely a captive audience.
Other questions or comments tonight? There's no bad questions, we like to say, right?
I was just going to quickly mention that as you make your 2x2 calls, if you find that there's a groundswell of folks that cannot meet when your club meets, clearly think about forming a satellite group. We're having great success with that. And they can meet at other places. They can do their own service projects. They can help with your service projects. So I really think that satellite options are really a way to grow clubs going forward, particularly coming out from the pandemic.
Thank you, Brad.
Greg.
Yeah, Chris, earlier you mentioned about now you can lead a call. Is there a certain dynamic, or since there's two people going on the call, is there a certain dynamic or interplay that works better than others as far as how a call should be handled with the two people talking, or how that should work together?
Yeah, so I really believe that within a Kiwanis club, those two people are going to know each other, and they're going to know the strengths of each other. So that's a real positive, and they can play off of each other's conversations. One of the things that I will say is that a lot of times when we think about recruiters, we think about the most extroverted person that we have, and that's not necessarily the case. I am a true introvert, but when I talk about Kiwanis, I am excited about it, and it really, my passion comes alive. I become a little bit more animated. So, once people learn, it's always good to have a person in a conversation that sort of we call the lead. Like, I'm going to take the lead on this appointment. Not that you're just going to sit there, but just kind of throw in things, whenever you see fit. Not necessarily two people trying to dominate a conversation, because we really want to listen and we really want the prospective member to be talking to us. Great question, Greg.
Great question. Chris, would you like to, if you would, put your screen down so we can listen?
Sure.
So we can see more of you. There you go. Other questions?
We don't have any questions, but we have two clubs already kind of talking about this, and they knew some more information was upcoming. So there's a few members on the call to take back to their clubs. So thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I will, for those of you that are with us tonight, last week we had the Care and Feeding of Volunteers by past Governor Kathy Tutty from the Montana district. That is available on the website, which really leads into this program. And when the Chris volunteered or was volunteered to present tonight, I thought that's just a perfect way to keep us going, right? Let's just talk about, we're talking about what we need to do to keep our members and how we need to recognize them. Here's a great way to bring members into our clubs.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that it's going to take work. It's not, we all know it's not easy, but if we can get a group of people in your club excited and ready to go, and even if you work with a local club in the area, if there's another club that you could do it together, right? No, nothing says that you got to do it by yourself. Have some challenges, some competitions in your division.
The other byproduct of going out and talking to other people about Kiwanis, it really reaffirms and re-energizes you as to why you got in and why you still are there, talking about it. Because I've had times when I talk about all the stuff that the club does, I go, I forgot about that, or something comes to mind, and wow, we do all this stuff and we're making a big difference. And so that can help re-energize existing members to just go out and do this.
Yes, and I will say, I always tell people to stay in the moment, and that is to stay in today. If your club has had some membership challenges, don't let the prospective member know, well, 10 years ago we had 50 members and now we have 10. No, stay in the moment. You've got 10 dynamic people who are doing great things in your community, and we would love to have more.
Yeah.
And so that's very, very important.
If you don't join our club, we're going to fold. Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah. It's all got to be on the positive. And that's
exactly
what we talk about. Keep it positive, keep it, talk about the project, you just finished, talk about the things you're doing and how their hands can help us move forward and do more things in our community. We all know, as you know, as we talk about during the pandemic, how much work was done by, you know, groups like ours who were delivering food or packages, masked, of course, in some areas, and we're delivering them to people that couldn't do it, or helping out with schools, you know, clubs that provided, you know, iPads or laptops for schools. And there's so much out there that we do on a daily basis that we can talk about, you know, and it never, I mean, if you're stuck on what your club is doing, talk about a project you've heard from somewhere else, or ask them if there's something that they see in their community that they, you know, think might have a need, and move from there.
So you bring up a great point too. I was just telling another group today that when I was a lieutenant governor for the Indy Metro division, I brought in several new members and not one of them to my own club, because those people did not fit the personalities for my club. So if you meet someone who is extremely interested in Kiwanis, but maybe they work near you, but they would rather join a Kiwanis club that is closer to where they live, connect them. That's so important. You know, or if you have several clubs in your area, invite them to check out the other clubs as well. So, you know, just think about that as an option.
Yeah, you can always pass along their information. I've done that several times. I mean, I've met people in the airport who are interested in what's going on and said, if you have a business card for me, I will hand it off to someone in Kansas or in, you know, in Seattle, wherever, because there's always people that are interested, and we can always connect them. Brad has his hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I've heard quite often veteran Kiwanians, those that have been around for a while, say, well, I've retired or whatever, and I've tapped out. I've invited all the friends. I know my circle of social acquaintances is diminishing and everything. And I was just multitasking here and saw on the Nextdoor app a notice from Jade Talbot in a subdivision across the way from me, posting for her son. Hi, my name is Adam. I'm a high school senior and working on my senior capstone project. One of my experiences is to volunteer. So it'd be a great opportunity to ask Jade and her son to come to the next service project and try out Kiwanis.
Right. I've seen more and more of that on the Nextdoor app as well. You know, I've decided to retire. What can I do? What are, you know, what's in my community that I can help with? And I think that, you know, it's another source that we often don't think about to, you know, to get to that point. So we have a few minutes left that I will go ahead and recap. So Chris, I want to thank you for making the presentation tonight and making, you know, giving us the information ahead of time, right? We can be the people on the ground first. Okay, I realize you gave it to Utah, Idaho, but that's okay, you know.
Well, thank
we'll
you for inviting me.
And we want to, and I want to thank Brad for recommending that we invite you along the way, because I think this is a great way to kick off our series. So for those of you that are new to our program, we do meet every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and we do have sessions scheduled. I will tell you now, we have sessions scheduled into September. One of the things that we do is I reach out to people that I know. I get recommendations from people that might be interested in joining us. And I will tell you that next week, we have a program called, which is very timely, How to Manage Opening Rituals, Pledge, Prayer, and Song in an Increasingly Diverse Community. And our former Chief Operating Office for the Kiwanis Children's Fund, Dr. Ann Updegraff-Spleth, is going to present that program, because she actually, when I reached out to her, she has a couple of them, but she said, you know, since we're moving this way, why don't we talk about this? You know, it becomes an issue. I hear about it. I get people saying, you know, why are we still doing the pledge? Why do we do this? Why do we do that? And this would be a great opportunity for that. In March, we have Terry Shepard, who is doing a program called Dr. Seuss and Me, an unexpected adventure writing the first kids' COVID book. So as you can tell, we have a variety of speakers. We do have Carol Minion Stern, from the former CEO of UNICEF, will be with us in a couple weeks. We have a program that we're working on a title with, but it's the Mythbusters. Basically, you know, why are people apprehensive about being and serving in a leadership program? We will do a Women in Kiwanis program. Current Governor Tony Gunn of the Australia District will be doing a program on Kiwanis Down Under, what their Kiwanis clubs are doing in Australia. And we will have a presentation from the Malaysia Club, who have the the Malaysia district later in June or July about the Care Heart Center, which is their program for children with Down syndrome. And for those of you that are not aware, they are very involved with Down syndrome. And then we will host our two groups of candidates, the trustees and the vice presidents, for their candidates forum. And I'm happy to report that past international president Paul Palazzolo will again lead us on those sessions. So we've got many other groups out there. We do have some information. I've talked with the Kiwanis Service Leadership Programs with Michelle Studi Campbell. They've got a couple of programs they're going to bring out to us. And, you know, we're always looking for ideas. So if there is someone that you know or someone we could reach out to, in fact, Greg Smith, who's with us tonight, introduced me to a person who has a huge history and has done a lot of work on finding Sasquatch or Bigfoot. So we're going to bring that on. So it doesn't have to be particularly Kiwanis focused. We hunted alligators last year. So we're open to anything. The whole goal is truly to bring us together tonight and to celebrate the work that we do as Kiwanians. Everything is posted on the Michigan District of Kiwanis Facebook page and on my own personal page if you need to watch it, but you're welcome to, we encourage you to like our page because that's where all the announcements are made. And you will see that I have made several announcements for several weeks and we continue to put those out there so that they're there. I also post them during the beginning of the week. So Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern time on Zoom for our group that we have a large group here. And then as well, we will show it on Facebook Live. So if you're interested in being on the Zoom group, the webinar component of it, if you can Facebook message me and I'll send you the link to do that. And then otherwise we'll have you join us on Facebook Live. So with that, Chris, last word.
Thank you. And go out and find your prospects.
And if you need help, I will also post the link to the book in the Facebook rooms so that people will have that as well. So we will get that all of you out there. So for those of you that are starting to come under the siege of snow, be careful, be safe. For those of you who don't have snow and are dealing with 80 or 90 degree weather, all right, we're good. With that, we'll close our meeting tonight. I will post this presentation overnight. It's actually when it will get posted once I download it. And you are welcome to show it to your clubs, and you can do it in a couple sessions because it is an hour program. But with that, we will say good night, and we will see you again next week, Thursday at 8 p.m. Thank you.
Good night.
Be safe.